Hello guys, welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Daz and this is the show where we talk about level design while playing cool maps. Now, sorry it's been so long coming. I've been so busy the last week or two, but here it is. I'm going to finish off the Hatch 18 videos as I made some pretty bold statements in my part 1 saying that it was one of the best mods I played this year and perhaps ever. I think that's still true, honestly, looking back. I recommend you do watch part 1 though to get the intro, because it's got a lot of story exposition in it, which I probably won't cover too much in later parts, so click the annotation and go back there if you missed it. So let's head off, shall we? So yeah, in part 1 we just finished off the intro and got inside the base, so we're just going to load that save now and carry on. So I mentioned that this mod is very much kind of a flawed gem, I suppose you could say. It's got a lot of annoying problems, but the underlying greatness just I think just outshines all of these problems really when you look at it as a whole. Some of the problems are, again, this might just be a problem with the English translation that you have to download in a separate patch. But the timings on the dialogue in a lot of the dialogue kind of story scenes, classy music, yeah. Oh, getting sidetracked now. But yeah, the story that pops up, the text on the screen, it just stays around for so long, and a lot of these scenes kind of root you in place as well, as you'll see here when you use the radio here. Now I've cut out a lot of the story here because it just takes so long to get through. The timings are really messed up. It's a real chore, so we're just going to skip ahead a bit now. So that radio there was just basically a little bit of story exposition explaining that this guy can contact you through the radio, and he's giving a little bit of backstory as well. If you've played the mod, I'm sure you already know. And he's told us to go in this room to pick up some clothing, and a head-mounted camera and all this other good stuff, so he can keep in contact with us. There we go. But yeah, one of the big complaints I have about the mod is just like the inconsistency of the text on the screen as well. Like, for instance, sometimes it'll lock you in place and just kind of you know, spray text on the screen for you to read, and other times you're allowed to move around while it's happening, and it just feels really bizarre. And again, with the timings I've already mentioned, yeah, they really do need to be tweaked, because it can be a real chore sitting through some of the longer dialogue sections. I mean, what it really needs is just you know, a next button or an OK button to just go to the next bit of text. So here you can see where we need a memory block to use that communication terminal. Now, I mean, this is kind of strange. I'll talk more about the memory block when I find it, but yeah, I'll just talk about it when we find it. So as you can see here, part of the storyline that I skipped past was telling us that we need to find a key in order to unlock a door. So we're just searching around for it. And I do like the way it highlights objects in the environment using the little white crosshairs. That actually turns out to be very handy. I can really understand why they put that in, because there's just so much clutter around the environments. Like, trying to find a small little key in an environment as densely populated as this. Yeah, I can really understand why it's there. But yeah, just talking about the visuals quickly as we explore around here. Wow, is all I can really say. There's just so much detail and like clutter objects all around the environment. There's what I think they're all kind of, there's a lot of new models in here as far as I can tell, or even just like retextured valve models and things like that. But from what I can tell, there's a lot of original stuff, and it's really well done. The sense of like this, you know, communist era underground bunker. Again, as I mentioned in part 1, it reminds me a lot of Stalker. Games like Stalker and Metro 2033 and whatever the number was after that game. Yeah, definitely got that Soviet era vibe going on here. It's really well done. I love the fact that all the posters and signs of everything are all in Russian. It really helps to solidify the atmosphere. So here's this memory block that the thing was talking about now. on my first playthrough I didn't put this together for ages. I was trying to work out for a long time what the hell this thing was. I mean, it literally is a block. I wasn't expecting it to be just so literal, so on my first playthrough I didn't work it out so quickly. Yeah, perhaps that needs a little bit of work, because I mean, there's no way even kind of way to know that the player's seen that text on the memory block here. So yeah, on my first playthrough I found that block and I just had absolutely no idea what it was for, so I was carrying it around with me for absolutely ages, just like, well, it looks important, what the hell do I do with it? It took me about 10 minutes of just slapping it against all the objects in the environment before I eventually found out it's slotted in here. Yeah, so that wasn't too fun. But I love the fact that you can find these memory blocks around the place and use them on these screens to get a little bit more backstory. I think what would have been nice is if the game explained to you that memory blocks contain kind of information, backstory and things like that, because then it would be like an optional thing. So if the player finds a memory block, he'll know that it's story related, and you know, if they're not interested in the story they can leave it. If they are interested, then they can go and plug it into a machine and find out. Gives the player some choice there, which is always nice. So here we are, locked in place again for some more exposition. Blech. I mean, I think that if you could just move around and still carry on playing while you were reading the text on the screen, that would be so much better. It's just the fact that it does lock you in place so much of the time. It just gets so annoying after a while. I've left this little bit in here just to demonstrate the kind of timings on it. It just feels really slow. But the dialogue itself, the stuff you can read, it's I mean, obviously, I think he's not a native English speaker, the guy who's done this, but it's translated very well. There's a couple of spelling mistakes here and there, but nothing major. It's all very readable. But the story is actually really good. I really like the backstory to this. It's very mysterious. Again, I compared it a little bit to Lost in part 1. I think that holds up really nicely, but even the fact that you kind of go into this underground bunker is a very Lost style, and you have absolutely no idea what's going on. It's very cool. So now this guy who we've been talking to on the radio is kind of warning us that there's Combine are out to get us still. We've held them off for a little while. Like in part 1 you saw us shutting that huge metal door in their faces. So we're safe for a little while, but it's only a matter of time until they find us. Which is very cool. So here we are, this door here, we have to find a short pipe to bust it. And this is kind of annoying because there's pipes absolutely everywhere around here, but you need to find the very specific one designed for you to pick up. It's a bit gamey because there's just bits of metal everywhere. Now you may have been wondering why I put all those boxes there. That's exactly why. Because I knew that there'd be a grenade dropping in here and they can open all these boxes for us. It's kind of strange that you don't get a crowbar earlier than you do actually. That's a quibble that we'll get to, I think that'll be in part 3, but yeah. I picked up a grenade. Now I managed to kind of fluke this in part 1. I knocked a couple of those crates onto the floor and, sorry, not part 1, my first playthrough I should say. And I managed to pick up a grenade like I've done now on my first playthrough, and I actually kind of broke the map a bit later on, which I'll explain when we get there. But yeah, when you're putting kind of crates in your level that you don't really want the player to open, just make sure you set the contents of them for what they drop, because by default it will give you something that you need, and when you have no inventory it tends to give you grenades. Which can lead to unwanted behaviour if the player destroys certain objects. Just be very mindful of that when you're building your levels. So now I'm a little bit lost. Just trying to remember what I'm supposed to be doing. That's the door we closed that the Combine were chasing us to in part 1. There's a really creepy noise in here. I'm sure I've heard it in some other Half-Life 2 maps, and maybe it comes from Half-Life 2, I'm not sure, but it's like that sniffing sound. Very creepy. This is a nice bit of incidental storytelling. Like when I came in here earlier in the video, this room was pristine, or as pristine as a rundown bunker can get, but now it's in a bit of disrepair. Interesting. And I love the fact that the game doesn't like throw that in your face, like, oh look, something's happened in this room while you were away, oh my god, you should notice this. You know, it's just kind of observant players will notice that there's something a bit weird going on in some of these areas. That's kind of something that permeates through this entire mod actually. There's a lot of kind of subtle things going on with the level design, and especially with like the sounds and things like that. There's a lot of things you can pick up on just by kind of paying attention to the environment and sound cues and things like that. It's really well done. I think that of all the mods I can think of just off the top of my head right now, I think in terms of telling story through the level and atmosphere, I think this is probably the best example I can think of for Half-Life mods right now. It really is an absolute masterclass in kind of atmosphere and storytelling. It's really good. Here we are, into the second map now. That looks kind of important. So again, here we've got another environment puzzle. We have to find something to open the door. Let's look around, here we are. And this happens quite a bit, where you have to find items in the environment to kind of interact with things, and generally I like the idea of it, but again, like that pipe thing in the previous room, some of them feel very gamey. So yeah, that pipe in particular was a bit strange because there were just pipes everywhere, but only one of them is usable. Now this is the room where I broke my playthrough in the first time I played this mod. You'll notice there's a little crate behind me on the floor that you need to get into this vent, and I kind of blew it up with my grenade in my first playthrough. And I had to reload a previous save. And I did write a huge list of feedback to the author of ModDB, mentioned this, and I believe he said that they will be releasing an update for part 1 of this, some bug fixes in and things like that. Another thing that really annoyed me was that vent grate there. Just took me even longer to get it out of the way in my first playthrough as well, because it just doesn't fit through the hole very well at all. Very annoying. But hey, never mind. Key, eh? I'm sure I never worked out how to get in that room in my first playthrough, which I suppose is a great thing you can say about the mod, where you don't see everything first time, and it's one of those mods where it really pays off to play through it a second time, because you pick up on a lot more things when you know the story. Kind of things start making a lot more sense the second time you play through. Now I noticed the reticule there, but I didn't actually have any idea what I picked up. It was just pitch black. I'm just guessing it was the key for this door, and it turns out I was right. I mean, that's something I'm going to mention later on as well, but things like objects in the world, they're either not visible enough or they're visible when they shouldn't be. Which can get very confusing when you find things before you're supposed to and you can't actually pick them up. It just feels absolutely awful when that happens, and it happens once or twice in this mod, which is a real shame. Things like, we'll come to it in a minute, but there's a set of keys you can pick up in a moment once we get outside, and you can't actually pick them up before they're kind of activated by the game script, but you can see them before then, and you can use them, and it makes the use sound, but nothing actually happens, and it's just like, ugh, no. It's a shame, but hey. Flawed gem, I think that's the best way to describe this mod. It really is. A diamond in the rough. So here we've got a kind of work out how to get up here puzzle. And I love the way that it's not just kind of a conveniently placed crate right next to the problem. You just kind of have to search around. There aren't really any crates you can pick up in this room, so it really makes you think about, okay, what items can I use to create a little bridge up there? Because crates are kind of there's such a stigma around crates, like, oh look, a crate, I wonder if I have to stack it against something to get up. So I love the fact that it's used different props there to kind of make you think about it a little bit. It's kind of nice. And I love this door here as well. It's very, very tactile, the way you open this door. I love it. You can see there's like a bar on the other side, and you literally have to ram the door with your body weight to kind of ping it off. I mean, it's such a little simple thing, but it just feels fantastic when just the fact of the player exerting force against the world can actually affect it. You don't see it that much, honestly. I mean, the classic example is like falling through a trapdoor as you walk over it. That's, you know, games have been doing that since Quake. But the fact you can actually script a door to open by exerting force against it with just the player model is really nice. So again, I'm getting a lot of Stalker vibes here as well. I wonder if E-40, the author of this mod, by the way, E-40, I wonder if he was like looking at kind of photo reference of places like Chernobyl and other kind of Eastern Bloc construction zones to kind of get inspiration for this, because there's a lot of stuff in here that just... Here's these keys I was talking about, where you can see them but you can't actually pick them up. Don't do that, it's horrible. But yeah, some of the scenes in this outside area just feel like they've been ripped directly from Chernobyl or Stalker games or something like that. That's not a complaint or a criticism, because I love that style of architecture and this whole abandoned industrial wasteland kind of theme going on here. This presses all my buttons, oh yeah. The music as well. I mean, I don't know if this is music that him or, you know, some friends of his or something have made, or if it's kind of public domain or something, but I don't know, but it suits this mod so well. I mean, honestly, I think the music brings the other half of the atmosphere that a lot of mods miss. It's a really just fantastic mix of the storytelling, the atmosphere produced by the level, and just the music. It all mixes together so brilliantly here. I love it. So now we can just explore around and try to find a way through. And there's a lot of detail all over the place. I mean, I was chatting to someone on YouTube that was saying they're having some performance difficulties on this mod, and I mean, it runs okay on my PC, but you can definitely see that the frame rate takes a hit in areas like this. I mean, but you can tell just by looking at the amount of detail plastered all over the environment. It's kind of obvious why, because there's just so much stuff everywhere. I think honestly that's what makes the visuals work so well, is just that there's so much detail breaking up all the large designs in the map. There's just like stuff cluttered around everywhere. It's a great look. It's another one of those things where you find a room but you can't get into it until the game says you can. So this is a bit foreboding. We find a combine lock that this guy didn't know would be there. So that puts me on edge a bit. And one thing I really like about the combat in this mod is that it's very fast and very brutal, and it feels like the author has absolutely no qualms with killing you, which is refreshing actually, considering most Half-Life mods are so easy to finish. I mean, I talk about this a lot, kind of difficulty, and the fact that typically Combine soldiers are absolutely useless at killing the player, and in fact most of the Combine units are. It's only in large numbers that they really start to become a threat. But in this mod he actually uses the Combine enemies really well. There's a couple of situations that feel a bit annoying, but overall I think he does the combat really, really well in this mod. It just feels very, very threatening when it happens, and it's very fast as well. Like, for instance, most of the mod that we've been watching now, how long has it been going on for? Yeah, wow, almost 20 minutes, and there's like hasn't been any combat whatsoever. It's all just been kind of story and exposition, and it's like this slow build up, you know. It reminds me of games like Fear by Monolith, where you know, there's just lots of kind of scary exposition and slow kind of storytelling, and then you get this ultra fast combat at the end of it. So there's another one of those data block machines. Now unfortunately I'm an idiot and I actually missed the data block in this playthrough that I recorded, but there is another one you can view there. I can't for the life of me remember what it says, so that's something for you guys to find. I won't spoil where the data block is, but it's fairly easy to find, if I'm remembering correctly. So this part again feels a little bit gamey, where suddenly head crabs because the guy talked about them. Which is a shame. I mean, there's just so many of them here, they can get really obnoxious after a while. On my first playthrough I did manage to kill them all, but for the most part it's just not worth it. It's just run. It's generally safe up here. Generally. Now this part's kind of annoying because it looks so obvious where you have to go. You have to kind of jump on that railing, but it's actually not solid, so you just fall straight through it. I think that needs to be fixed. That's quite annoying. But hey, got there in the end. And now trollololol when we try and open the door. Yes, thank you game. Now this was doubly painful on my first playthrough because I'd already found that key model earlier, and I knew exactly where it was when I saw that key message there. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. I could have picked this key up ages ago, but the game said no. So yeah, that's kind of like, that's probably one of the most major criticisms I have of this mod, is that you can find things before they become usable, and it just feels awful, like especially in a situation like this where you have to run through all these obnoxious head crabs to get back there and take all this what should have been unnecessary damage. And then I just kind of noob out and let them almost kill me. Good job. So there we go. So this is the end of part 1, guys. I realised there wasn't much action, but part 2 things heat up immensely, so I hope you stick around. Sorry, not part 2, part 3. Oh, I'll get it right one of these days. I'll see you next time.